Last summer, I visited the suburb of Canada on the outskirts of Ottawa. I went to a strip mall where nearly half of the businesses had their doors shuttered with brown paper. It was shocking, but you know what? You go to any community, any mall, any main street across Canada, and you're gonna see a similar picture.
Business insolvencies are at their highest levels in years.
Profits have plummeted, and at the same time, we've seen other stresses coming into play.
Statistics Canada has outlined that more businesses are shutting their doors than opening them in Canada. Year over year, insolvencies are up 50%. That's more than 5,000 businesses that have shut their doors. That's over 5,000 employees who lost their job because that business didn't feel it could go forward in Canada. At committee, I recently asked the Minister of Small Business what she was doing to address these alarming statistics. And the only answer she gave me was that the government was decreasing taxes for small businesses. I pressed her multiple times, what taxes are you in fact decreasing? And she couldn't give me a response because it's simply not true. Statistics Canada currently, or just recently, outlined that more businesses are closing than are opening, and the Office of the Superintendent of Bankruptcy reported that business insolvencies have increased 41% in 2023 to 2022. This represents one of the largest increases in a generation. If your government's approach is actually working, what are your officials telling you about these really alarming statistics coming from Statistics Canada?
What I can tell you is, small businesses are experiencing challenges, but again, we're lowering taxes for small businesses, doing everything we can to help support them.
What taxes are you lowering?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for that question. I'll pass it over to my officials who have the answer to that question.
The only tax change happening in Canada right now is a tax increase that's disproportionately impacting small businesses. On April 1st, the carbon tax is going to go up another 23%.
The price will not go up. The plan is a price, till 2022. That is what was negotiated with provinces and territories. The plan is not to increase the price post 2022.
In order to have as much efficiency as needed, that pricing needed to be above $100 and even $120. We'll be at $170 by 2030. So it is going to be a pretty serious incentive.
You know, when the carbon tax was announced back in 2019, the government promised a hefty rebate for small businesses who shoulder 40% of all taxes collected in Canada through the carbon tax. They were promised a rebate program. Fast forward to 2024 today, and the government hasn't delivered. And what's the consequence of this? Well, we do know that the carbon tax has led to higher fuel costs, higher grocery costs, higher rental costs across the board for small businesses. That's why they promised the rebate program in the first place. So it's no wonder why more businesses are shutting their doors, why more businesses are having trouble paying their heating bills, paying their input costs, because it all goes back to the carbon tax, which has a ripple effect on all sectors of our economy. With policies like the carbon tax, it's no wonder GDP per capita in Canada is falling at an alarming rate. We've got the worst GDP per capita in the G7. And amongst all developed countries in the world, we have one of the worst economic projections. That is a consequence of the carbon tax. This is not some external force that the government can admit to having no control over. The carbon tax is real. The tax hike is real. And if the government really wanted to, they could lower taxes for businesses and all Canadians who are struggling to put food on their table and pay their bills right now.
It's a beautiful Axe the Tax t-shirt.
It's no wonder why 70% of premiers across Canada, 70% of Canadians are resolutely focused on axing the tax and spiking the hike.
This isn't just reckless, it's immoral and it's inhumane.
This cost is not helping. It isn't driving innovation.
Guys, wake up, smell the coffee. Like, what don't you understand? Cancel this carbon tax, put it on hold, do whatever. And if you don't, the people of Canada are going to annihilate you when the election comes up. Simple as that.
This is the only time Justin Trudeau's united so many Canadians across the political spectrum. It's against the carbon tax. Canadians want to spike the hike because they can't afford another tax increase. And when the Conservatives form government, we're going to axe the tax and bring real relief to the cost of living challenges, to the cost of business challenges that so many in this country face today.